President Biden received a fire briefing in Santa Monica, California Wednesday before returning to Washington. And the president was already scheduled to be in Southern California this week and says he's deploying federal resources to the region.
I directed DOD, Department of Defense, to rapidly provide additional firefighting personnel and capabilities. We're prepared to do anything and everything as long as it takes to contain these fires and help reconstruct, make sure we get back to normal.
At the briefing, Biden said his son Hunter's Los Angeles home may have been destroyed by the fires. Vice President Kamala Harris's neighborhood in Brentwood is also under an evacuation order. Joining us now is CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, President Biden has already approved a major disaster declaration in California. How fast can those federal resources get to where they're needed?
Well, some resources are already there, Lindsay. For example, there are 4 U.S. federal air tankers that are on the scene, 10 U.S. Forest Service helicopters. There are dozens of Forest Service fire trucks on the scene. And what the president said today is that he's leaning on the military for even more assistance. He said that there are 10 Navy helicopters with water delivery buckets that are on their way to California right now. And the hope is that this wind will die down enough that some of these aerial resources can finally be used to their fullest potential.
And before you go, I want to ask you about the exit interview that President Biden did with USA Today's Washington Bureau Chief Susan Page. What are some of the biggest takeaways?
Well, we learned for the first time why the president decided to spend the night in California last night, which is something that we were wondering. He told Susan Page that it was because his first grandson was being born in California today. William, the son of his granddaughter, Naomi, great-grandson, right. Excuse me, the son of his granddaughter, Naomi Biden, and he clocked in at a healthy 10 pounds, 4 ounces today. President Biden was able to visit his first great-grandson. And on a more serious note, in this interview, Susan Page asked President Biden whether he thought he would have won the election if he had stayed in the race. And interestingly, he said he thinks that he would have, based on polling that he had seen, which was kind of a surprising answer, given that virtually all the polling that we saw right up until the point when he dropped out consistently showed him trailing Donald Trump.
Nancy Cordes in Washington, thank you as always.